Harvard University President Claudine Gay resigning yesterday after facing weeks of intense criticism over her handling of anti-Semitism on campus and accusations of plagiarism. In a letter to the Harvard community, Gay wrote, quote, "It has been distressing to have doubt cast on my commitments to confronting hate and to upholding scholarly rigor, and frightening to be subjected to personal attacks and threats fueled by racial animus." Harvard's longtime provost, Ellen Garber, is going to now take over as the interim president. Now, Gay is going to return to Harvard's faculty. She's reportedly likely going to still earn nearly $900,000 a year in salary. Of course, she was making that prior to being named president. That was just 6 months ago. A lot of questions here. Let's bring in Harvard alum and Heritage Foundation Vice President Roger Severino. Roger, good morning.
Good morning.
What is your reaction to the resignation of Claudine Gay, in particular as a Harvard alum? Many of your fellow alumni have been saying that she should have been ousted directly after that disastrous testimony on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, absolutely. This is 2 down, 1 to go. Remember, the 3 university presidents that testified atrociously, who equivocated on calls for genocide against Jews on campuses. It is so outrageous that it took this long. But Claudine Gay was brought to Harvard as president really for one reason: to cement Harvard as DEIU. She checked all the boxes of the DEI administration, right? She was the right race, the right sex. She published extensively on racial division, and her thin academic record didn't really support her being president. However, she was very famous for pushing DEI at Harvard, and look what it led to. She was absent when you had this ridiculous attacks on Jews at Harvard, and now she's ultimately paying the price. But I read that letter of resignation. She's not taking accountability. She's not sorry for what she said. She's trying to blame others and dissemble, and it's really more of the same.
Yeah, she's claiming that it was that this is racism. And by the way, she did not apologize in her resignation for what she's accused of doing, which is obviously not defending Jewish students that were being attacked, that were being doxxed, that were being trolled on campus, that were afraid for their safety, while basically defending. I mean, this started back, remember, on that letter. I mean, she stood by those initial 30 Harvard student groups that published that letter that held Israel entirely responsible for the October 7th attacks. Now, I want to bring in Amber Duke into this because, you know, look, I mean, it was these conservative journalists, Amber, that ended up exposing the plagiarism, which seems to have gotten her fired, or I'm sorry, she resigned.
That's exactly right. And there's also this weird irony in that some of the passages that Claudine Gay is accused of lifting are from Carol Swain, who, as you might know, Roger, was sort of an outcast from the academic community because she was considered too conservative. For this to come full circle and for conservative journalists to ultimately be Claudine Gay's downfall is kind of, I think, a little bit of schadenfreude for some people.
Yeah, and that's right. Harvard became famous in the Harvard case at the Supreme Court for imposing effectively racial quotas on its admissions. And Claudine, she is very well qualified. She's black but conservative, so she's not on board with the DEI agenda, and that would disqualify her outright, right? So it's not even just about race, it's an ideology. You have to go all the way through, and this ideology clouds, it's corrosive, it's a moral rot at the universities that elevates people based not on the character of a person, but the color of their skin. And that's just wrong. I was at Harvard a couple decades ago, actually, and it was bad then, and it only got worse now. And it will only change if donors pull their money, which you're seeing some of that now, and the federal government stops funding these universities. They're excessive in the billions of dollars that we're giving these universities when they're not producing academic rigor. They're allowing plagiarism to be covered up by the Harvard Corporation, and they're doing this DEI nonsense. They've lost their way, they've lost their mission, and this is just the first step. The resignation, long overdue. But I'm not confident the next president is going to fix it until you have a widespread institutional change. And I think it starts with cutting off their funds.
Well, okay. And you know, it's interesting. There's so much to unpack in what you just said. But, you know, with the DEI side of this, I mean, that is the criticism that's being lobbed against Harvard Corporation, is that this woman had a very thin resume, plagiarism allegations. This is before that even crossed, and that she basically, you know, was unqualified for the job, and that DEI was the only reason that she got the job. And Bill Ackman, a white Jewish man coming out and saying that. That's pretty brave on his part. But he also said that he knew that she wouldn't get fired because Harvard was afraid that it would look like they were kowtowing to him. So he's having to defend himself because he's a billionaire, and maybe in academia he's evil because of that. Anyway, I want you to listen to what Congressman Michael Waltz told me yesterday here on Fox Business. He joined me right after the news broke of Gay's resignation. Listen to what he had to say about the current environment.
Harvard is essentially a hedge fund with classrooms with $54 billion in assets, with professors that can't be fired, clearly with presidents that aren't hired on the merits of their work, and that are loading our kids up with debt and not preparing them for a future workforce. We have questions on how and why she was hired in the first place, why we even had to have a hearing to expose the anti-Semitism that was on display for the entire world to see, why our Jewish American students felt so threatened and unsafe and unsupported by not just the leadership of these institutions, but by their boards.
Your response to that and to what Michael Waltz had to say?
Yeah, I think he's spot on. And it starts with the board. The Harvard Corporation, they issued a statement along with Claudine Gay about her resignation. No responsibility taken whatsoever. Shifting, deflecting, trying to blame others. Look, she published 11 academic peer-reviewed journals, and that's so thin for a president of a major research university. Was she given special treatment? Well, it sure looks like it. And now we discover that so many of those were plagiarized in direct violation of Harvard's own conduct policies. And the Harvard Corporation said they conducted an investigation to look into it and cleared her of it and said these were no harm, no foul. These are small little things. And then the drip, drip, drip kept going. No, it's not a small thing. Plagiarism is a serious issue, especially at what is supposed to be one of the premier institutions in America. And the Harvard Corporation tried to sweep it under the rug, and it looks like it was because of the DEI ideology. They wanted to protect their own. They didn't want to be seen as taking down the first black woman president at Harvard. And I think that clouded their judgment when the misfeasance was just so obvious at this point, it couldn't be sustained. And finally, they said enough is enough.
Yeah, well,
again, but they still didn't take responsibility for real.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but a lot of U.S. corporations now, we saw in 2023, these DEI departments, these initiatives were cut because it didn't, at the end of the day, make good business sense. I mean, you've got a business to run, and when it comes to Harvard, you've got a university to run, and you've got students to teach, and maybe it should be about the students' education and not about the virtue signaling. I want to bring in Ryan Payne into this. Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the other question here, Roger, is the board protected Claudine. Does anything really change here? Because no one from the board has been gone. Are they going to be ousted, members of the board? Is that a possibility? Because it seems to me like those that kept her in place should be out as well if you really want to evoke some change here.
Yeah, and that's why I said earlier, it's the money. They actually have to feel the pressure. They have to lose the donations they've been getting. They have billions in their endowment, and they've built that on goodwill of what used to be a great institution, and they've lost that. They've smashed their credibility. The donors need to pull back. The federal government, more than anything, has to withdraw the funding. Research money, there has to be a Title VI investigation by the DOJ Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice. The Biden administration, I doubt they're really going to do much with it. It might take a new president to do something, but they have to feel a pinch. They have to lose their federal funds, and then the Harvard Corporation might change. There might be turnover and new elections. That's what it's going to take.
Well, I think that is the next stage of this. I'm aware of it because both Michael Waltz yesterday and as well as Elise Stefanik herself have said that they're not done. And this is not over as far as congressional hearings are concerned. Elise Stefanik posted yesterday on X, that was the most watched, viewed hearing in Congress, was that testimony from those three presidents. And as she said, and others have said, 2 down, 1 to go. Roger Severino, a Harvard alum yourself, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right.